Don't worry about me. Gonna be alright. I'm tired and weary, and I'm ready to go. I have no regrets, 'cause I live my life in every color, like a handprint on your heart, to reach the other side. Won't you deliver me? Let the morning light come. I know you'll deliver me. The sun shines again on my faith. And so, if I'm to go into the unknown, carry me home as I open my eyes. A new kind of life begins to unfold. And now I realize that this ain't goodbye. I'll see you on the other side. So why don't you deliver me? Yeah. Oh, let the morning light come. I know you'll deliver me, yeah. Yes, you will. The sun shines again on my face. Oh, deliver me. Oh, let the morning light come. And so, if I'm to go into the unknown,
Music is undeniable. There's nothing like it. Nothing like the power of a song giving you goosebumps, breaking your heart. It's like comedy, really, in a way. You don't choose what makes you laugh any more than you can choose how music can turn you on. It's undeniable. It's part medicine and part hypnosis. I might be the whitest white boy who ever white boyed with all the rhythm that implies. But when the radio breaks open with the right tune, I'm bouncing my knees like I'm on a pogo stick and rocking the drums out on my steering wheel like I've got Def Leppard groupies to impress. Filmmakers have known this for years. Try watching Jaws without a soundtrack. Or you pull James Horner's score out of Field of Dreams. I'll tell you, it's kind of sweet when Costner and his old man have a catch in a cornfield. Toss it back in and I'm weeping like somebody stole my 8th grade lunch money on pizza day. Music, my friends, is undeniable. That's what hit me when I sat down with soul/blues/rock singer and guitarist Adam Aguilar. We met up at VCDs, an Oklahoma music staple that he currently co-owns. And within minutes, he was on stage playing a song he'd written to honor his late grandfather. It was haunting and soulful and long-practiced earnest. Hearing it live was gosh dang transcendental, you ask me. Talking to him after, diving into a bit of his life, gave me a little insight into how much family has influenced his musical journey.
This place, VCDs, This was the first gig, the first real gig that I ever had in my music career when I was 18 years old. That wasn't a pizza place. Like, we played, I think, Pizza Grandiosa over on Rockwell and Expressway a couple times. And then Chad Bleakley, who was the owner of VCDs at that time, my dad was always the biggest proponent of us. Like, my bandmate Robbie, his dad too. So they'd kind of tag team bar owners, and they did that to Chad, and they were like, man, we'll sell tickets, we'll fill the place up, it'll be a great night for you. And I don't think Chad realized that we were all teenagers and that everyone that came in this place was a teenager, and they obviously weren't drinking. And like, looking back on it from a band standpoint, we were like, man, we did good, we packed the place out. And I'm sure that Chad was just like, yeah, but these fuckers didn't bring anyone in to drink and spend any money.
Right.
But yeah, so ever since then, and I saw all my favorite like upcoming artists here. Like, they played here, and I saw all those shows, and that meant a lot to me. When the opportunity came up to be a part of this place and a part of its history, I mean, no one ever is going to own this place forever. I think you're kind of a torchbearer for VCDs. So we're trying to leave it better than what we found it, and I'm sure at some point someone else will come along and do the same thing. But yeah, the place, just overall, the vibe is amazing, and it just means a lot to me and my family.
Well, you mentioned that about your dad in regards to basically kind of taking like a booking agent, manager role like early on for you. Let's talk a little bit about your dad's influence on you as a musician.
My dad, he's a music fan. He just flat out loves music. He was very instrumental, and my mom too. We always had music around the house. I would dive into his records and listen to the Eagles and Al Green, Marvin Gaye. I just remember sitting in front of the record player, holding those things and singing along with them. I fell in love with music largely because of the way my family treated music in the house. All the soul singers that my dad listened to, that's where I get how I like to sing these days. It's my main influence in singing is definitely soul-oriented.
When did you, and don't go all humble on me, but when did you know you were good? At what point did you think, okay, you know what? Like, I got something.
Yeah, so I knew I was good at this when my dad told me I was good. Because he was always, I don't want to show my dad in any kind of negative light, because he's a great freaking dad. My parents are amazing, but he was always so hard on us. School, sports, whatever. If he was in the stands watching you play baseball or basketball and you missed a shot or you struck out or something, you'd see the disappointment in his eyes. And it freaking stung.
Yeah.
And I don't think he realized he was doing that. I don't think he would do that on purpose, but it drove us to really work hard and do something, and do it great. And my dad always said, if you're gonna do something, you freaking do it. And when I first started playing guitar, he told me, he was like, well, it's cool that you can play these songs on guitar, but like, you gotta sing something. And so I'd never sang for anyone, ever. I was really big into the Eric Clapton's Unplugged record when I first started playing guitar.
That's the first CD I ever bought, yeah.
Yeah, so I learned a few of those songs, and Running on Faith, I think, was one of the first songs that I played and sang for my dad. I could see it in his face that he really thought that I was great. That made me go, oh shit, I think I'm good at this. I'm gonna try to get better, because I want to keep getting that look from him. And he still gives me those, and he still tells me, you could have done that a little differently.
Not your best.
Yeah.
Aguilar is a professional, but it doesn't feel calculated so much as earned. He was a founding member of 4 bands, Sub Rosa, 2 AM, and the Weekend All-Stars, as well as his current The Adam Aguilar Band. And he's earned his stripes. His drive, his focus, it's got a maturity to it. You don't get anywhere without drive, not really, not in anything, especially in a business designed by evolution to weed out flukes. Talent abounds in a billion lost causes, but you have to have it, have to know what to do with it. and you gotta have the guts and the insight to take it there. He's confident and warm in conversation, has the easy charisma of a guy who doesn't need everybody to love him. And his seriousness anchors his charm, so you don't feel like you're being sold anything you don't want to buy. 10 minutes after hanging out with him, I considered the stranger a friend.
For probably the past 10 years, I've been saying to myself, okay, you're gonna make a record. We're gonna make a record. And finally, the opportunity presented itself. The Aranda brothers, Damien Aranda, who's been a great friend of mine for a long time, he called me up one day and he was like, hey, you know, what are you doing? What do you want to do something with your music? Do you want to write? Do you want to put a record out? And I was like, man, I do. And I just, you know, sometimes you just need that kick.
Yeah.
Or you just need to write, in order to get something down, you need to write it down. Mm-hmm. And he was like, listen, let's get together, let's write some songs. And I'd never written in a group setting before. So we put it on the calendar, and in a matter of, I don't know, a couple months, we managed to write some original tunes and get a good handful together that we wanted to record. And I say I wanted to do it a long time ago, but in hindsight, I wouldn't have been able to make the record that I just made 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even just a few years ago.
Right.
Timing's everything, and you know, it's I believe that the universe works in, you know, strange ways and puts things together for a reason. And I think that the timing was right, and we finally came together and got some songs, and I'm so proud of the way it turned out.
Tell me about the song that you played out there.
So, Deliver Me, Randy Sanders, who's the guitar player in the band, my right-hand guy, he wrote all the songs with me, and he brought the music to that tune to me and Damien Aranda. When we wrote it, it was fresh off the heels of my grandpa passing away, and he lived a long, good life, and he was easily one of the most influential human beings in my life. He was the kindest person, never met anyone that wasn't a friend. He was just always so sweet and so nice to people, especially his family. When I heard the music for the song, it just really spoke to me, and I really feel like my grandfather's energy was in the room when we were toying around with the music at first. And so that song is a tribute to him, and it's anyone that's watched an older family member of theirs pass away, I'm sure has gone through this, but you go through a period of time where you watch them rapidly decline, and that's really, really tough. When it came to him, it was, you know, one of the toughest moments of my life, watching him not be able to speak anymore, really just not there. So I wrote the lyrics. Damien and I wrote the lyrics from a standpoint of, you know, what would he have said to me if he could speak. I managed to squeeze an I love you out of him as he was passing away. And I think I try not to get emotional here, but I think the song really translates to my relationship with him during those times and kind of how he lived his life. So for me, it's probably the most special song on the record. So it's the last one on it.
My beautiful wreck can hear someone calling.
We talked for a while at VCDs, then moved down a bit to Bin 73 to have a drink with his guitarist, Randy Sanders. They've played together for about 6 years, known each other for a decade, give or take. We had a few cold pops, laughed a lot. Being in a band or on a film set builds you a special kind of family.
I've known Adam since 2005, seeing him play with 2 AM out at the lake, the old Pearls Lakeside. We'd go out there and it'd be packed, and 2 AM would be playing, Adam Aguilar would be up front, and like we all knew who he was, and I was 20 years old, you know, at the time. But I've been a fan of his, you know, since then. I mean,
Oh, stop it.
but I'm serious. Like, One of the best vocalists in town right off the bat. You just know, like, it's a unique voice, and I mean, I've felt that way, you know, for 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
So
Something about Randy's playing brought out another side of me as an artist. I admired the way he played so much, and it's the hardest thing about being a guitar player that is so good at what you do. It's hard to hold back in times where you need to, and have times where you really let it loose, and have times where you kind of hold back.
Right.
And the way that Randy plays just really embodies that that style of he can do anything he wants to, but he really is very tasteful in the way he plays. And so, as a singer, I actually use that as inspiration for my main instrument, which is my voice. And his playing made me realize that I don't always have to go for it. You know, I can lay back a little bit and be softer in my tone where I need to be, just like he is in his playing, and then really let it loose when the opportunity presents itself.
Right.
I think we realized that real quickly too, playing with each other. It was, I mean, his voice is his instrument, and I know that sounds cliche, but I mean, it's the truth. Like, he can do anything with his voice. It's nuts. And his voice is what I connect with. It's like I'm playing with another guitar player. Like, we play off of each other so easily. And it's kind of the same thing when you meet somebody, you kind of know, like, hey, we're going to be best friends, I think.
Yeah, it's an instant chemistry type thing, just like with any other relationship you have in your life.
And I think we knew that right off the bat, that we had something special, and both of us were like, okay, let's not mess with anything, but let's go for this.
I think there's something to be said about that. Like in terms of like filmmaking and acting, like someone who's always trying to steal the scene, or always going to 10 when you need people like a 7 or a 6, because it's not about servicing like yourself. As awkward as that sounds, it's about servicing the film or the scene, or in y'all's case, the song.
Right.
Where did you learn that restraint? Have you?
My dad, he fantastic fiddle player, bluegrass guy.
Big Randy.
Yeah, Big Randy. He, you know, always, music was always a thing in our household. And whenever I was, I don't know, 7 or 8, I wanted to play the piano. And we'd sit in my room and we would just kind of pick out songs I wanted to learn, you know. And I got to where I could kind of, you know, figure out how to solo a little bit. And, you know, it started kind of making sense. And I would just play and play and play. And my dad would come over and he'd be like, you need to learn when to stop. Like, there's more to be said in silence than there is in all this, you know, stuff going on.
Right.
I'll even write down little notes that, I mean, Adam's seen sometimes that it just says breathe. And I got that from a friend of ours, Mike Walker.
Mike.
He used to do the same thing. He'd write it on a snare, and
That's badass.
He said his thing was, you know, the most important notes in a song are the ones that you don't play.
Yeah.
And he lived by that as a player, and we lost him too soon. He drummed for Aranda. He taught a lot of us local players that lesson. That was his motto, you know, was to know when to lay back and not play that note.
And in fact, I think
powerful.
I think the first time that I kind of heard that from Mike, I was 23, 24, and I remembered, I related that to what my dad said when I was 12 or 13, 11, 10, whatever. And it was like, okay, Dad was right, you know, because Mike, whenever, I mean, he was a celebrity, basically.
Yeah.
You know, he was the best drummer.
To us,
in Oklahoma.
anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. There's satisfaction in listening back to yourself and hearing that restraint.
Go ahead.
So I find a lot of inspiration in the people that are around me, you know, and mainly because I have such a sense of family and kinship with my friends that I'm constantly working towards making them proud of what I do. And for my bandmates, they inspire me. They lift me up. And all those people make me better, not only as a musician, but as a person too. So for me, that's a very important part of what I do as a musician and artist. And And also the people, you know, all the local musicians, as we talked about before, above all else, I'm a fan of local Oklahoma artists. I mean, I love getting out and seeing people play when we're not playing. The support group aspect of the way local musicians are in Oklahoma City is tremendous. Everyone roots for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, the camaraderie is amazing.
That's inspiring in itself.
Yep.
It makes you want to do better. It makes you want to, and you lift each other up.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves each other so much here. Like, everybody wants the other one to succeed. We all love what the other does. We all dote over the, you know.
For sure.
Well, when you're talking about, and we only listened to the one song today that's on the album, but obviously very personal to you.
Yeah.
So when you're opening that up and bringing people in to say, hey, here are my lyrics, this is my heart here, this is I'm bleeding onto the page. That's a lot of trust you're putting into people, whether with co-writing and performing with you. Can you speak on that a little bit?
On the co-writing aspect, this is the first time, like I said earlier, it's the first time I'd ever sat in a room and been like, okay, we're gonna write a song, you know?
Yeah, let's make up some
and
lyrics.
That was a very foreign concept to me. Something I'd always wanted to do. I just didn't know how to go about getting people in a room to want to write a song. And the writing process for this record was so freaking fun. Mm-hmm. And having guys like Damien and James come and put a spin on songs that we really just had skeleton ideas for. Mm-hmm. You know, we didn't have any lyrics yet. It was really just music that Randy had, and there were some songs on the record that Damien Aranda wrote that he never really got to do a whole lot with. And he presented those to me and was like, hey, I've got these songs, these amazing songs.
And the funny thing was, we've been Aranda fans for so long, we knew
the songs.
2 or 3 of them were, we'll put that on the album.
Yeah,
if you want to give it to us.
We'll take it.
Yes, please. Yeah, we'll do it, yeah.
So between, you know, the co-writing process of the songs that were completely original that are on the record, and then there's a handful of songs like that we got to cut versions of. So there's just a lot of synergy, and it's everything came together really at the right moment.
I took the wrong road, despite what everybody tried to say. I pretended not to hear, but took a chance anyway. You got those crazy lips, but it's on.
If you could go back to yourself at 18 or when you started, or before that, when you picked up a guitar for the first time, whatever, you tell me. But like, what's something you wish you could go back and tell yourself then, when you were wide-eyed and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed?
It's easy when you're young and you realize that you're kind of good at something. You're thinking, especially in music, you're like, record deal, record deal, record deal. When I would tell myself now as an older person that the most important thing to do is work on your craft, work on the way you present yourself to your audience, work on how you connect with your audience. So, and then maybe the other thing comes. Maybe it doesn't.
Right.
But if you do it because you love it, which I do, I mean, I get people that ask me all the time how, because we play a lot. You know, I think for the past couple of years we've been averaging, I don't know, 3, sometimes 4 gigs a week. We all go to our day jobs every day, and I get asked all the time, how do you continue to do it night after night? And I do it strictly because I freaking love it. It's the thing, aside from my family, my kids, this is the thing that I love to do the most. Mm-hmm. And it's not work. You know, the work is setting up and tearing down, as you guys know. But getting up there on stage, it's therapeutic. I get 3 hours at a time where I get to forget about my job. I get to forget about, you know, the shitty things that are going on in the world. And can I cuss? Is that bad?
I think you should.
Okay. But yeah, I absolutely love to make music, and I love doing it with the people that are around me. So it makes it easy to play 3-4 nights a week, and it helps me to do that. You know, it helps me work on myself.
Okay, what pain was worth going through and not getting the easy way around it? Because there are some places that, like, you get the shortcut, then you miss the lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have that heartbreak to appreciate the good stuff.
I guess I wouldn't tell myself that it would be God, how old am I? 42. It wouldn't be, 24 years after my first,
I wouldn't tell the truth.
after my first gig that you'd really put something out that truly represented who you are as an artist. Because I think that would have scared the shit out of me.
Right.
So I would have let myself just find that out.
Right.
But if I could tell myself something, I would tell myself that it was absolutely worth it to go through that time. And, there's a lot of self-doubt. All artists experience that. You feel like you're not good enough. And, I did the voice auditions, and I got pretty far into that audition process. They gave me the film schedule and then told me, they were like, well, we don't need you. So, okay. But yeah, maybe the pains of rejection, I wouldn't tell myself those things. I'd let myself find out.
Aguilar says his grandfather never knew a stranger. That's a gift he seems to have inherited. And that his father pushed him to be his best, a job he appears to have taken up himself. Life, music, it's all the same. We take the pieces we love, do the best we can with them on our way down the road. Rocker Damian Aranda says that Aguilar has a voice that is timeless. Told me that you could put him up against anybody nationally as a talent, and he would know. Me? I think I'd just tell you that Adam Aguilar and his talent are undeniable.
Do you dream of where you're going? Or does someone keep you here? Do you live in your emotions? Are the motives even clear? Will you look for something better? Or will you stay with what you had? And every night you keep on driving, it keeps driving you insane. Do you need a soda? I can see my mind in yours. Can't explain it, but I know you're so right, so right. You see a beautiful disaster. I can see the final masterpiece. So right, so right. But just know you're not alone when you need to let it go somehow. And I can see you moving closer. Yeah, closer to the truth. We're poetry in motion. So forget the line you drew. Do you need a soda? I can see my mind in yours. Can't explain it, but